2 weeks from today, 2 weeks from today, Texas Rangers pitchers and catchers hit the field. And in less than 2 months from today, the Rangers will hit the airwaves on a whole new plan. We've got the numbers, the details, the facts and the figures coming your way next on the DLLS Sports Network. Sands, that's easy for you to say, shifting sands of the world of broadcast television. Yes, it's changing. Where will you watch the Rangers? Where will you stream the Rangers? Where will you find the Rangers? Can you find the Rangers? Good news on all counts. We've got answers. It's the DLLS Rangers Podcast. John Radigan here. Rads with J-Dub. That's Jeff Wilson. We've got the Prophet over here, Elijah Smith, and we've got you, which we appreciate. All about Sports Zone. Happy and excited to watch some Rangers baseball. Join him and talk sports with us. Talk baseball with us. We will be watching Rangers and everybody, pretty much all 16.5 million who want to or would want to can do it based on what we're hearing from the Rangers.
Right, and you know we suspected that it would come out soon.
Yep.
And it did, and they dropped it just in time last night for the 5 o'clock news.
Yep.
And if not 5, then 6. But it's good news. I mean, you have a lot of options now, a lot more than you did, and they're still working to provide more. So right now, it's the big ones are Spectrum, AT&T Uverse, and then DirecTV and Direct Stream, which I have, and I'm excited that about that. And then on the digital side, Victory is going to be available on Apple TV, Google TV, Roku, which we also have. So there are a number of options that have not existed in the past few seasons that really gives people the opportunity to watch the Rangers. And, of course, there's the over-the-air part.
Right.
Friday night games, or
right.
Friday games, will be on KDAF,
right,
Channel 33.
Yep, the CW 33. And as we understand it right now, there's 15 scheduled for that, and there'll be Friday home games. So that's interesting, but it is, from a logistical and a technical standpoint, it's a lot harder to do that, to pull that off on a road game. So it's understandable. All those games will be produced by the Rangers Sports Network, which is the RSN involved here, and they are definitely working. For example, Hulu and Fubo.
Rarities
already
has
there.
Asked, and Mark Aaron has asked about YouTube. Rarities about Hulu, and we have answers.
Yeah. Hulu and Fubo are working on a merger right now, so they can't negotiate any contracts. But it is the Rangers' intent, and it's almost certain that they will be on the new Hubo or Fulu or whatever they're going to be called when they merge. And what did you learn about YouTube TV? That's unlikely, right?
It seems unlikely. They've gone down the avenue. YouTube, though, just doesn't do any sport.
They don't.
Any regional sports.
Yeah.
It's not just a Rangers thing, and it's not that the Rangers didn't try to help out the fans who have YouTube. It's just that's just the way it just didn't work out because of the YouTube business model. Can they be convinced? Maybe. I don't know. But it doesn't seem like that one's going to happen. So if you have YouTube, though, you have an option. You can get Victory, and for $100 for the season, and watch the games through that app, and then you can drop YouTube, as I did a few years ago, to get Direct Stream. and frankly, I don't watch enough TV to know which one's better or what the difference is. But I know that they have Rangers games. And that's really my primary focus from March to October. So if that's your focus, then do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And by the way, if all you have, which I know there's some out there who still fit this bill, probably most of those aren't watching a podcast. But if you're one of them and all you have is rabbit ears, CW33, you can just find that on your rabbit ear TV. So literally, though, at least 15 games during the year, and it could be more, but at least 15 games during the year you'll have available to you. And so everybody who has, any sort of TV situation working will have Rangers games available. Like we say, they're working on the Fubo Hulu thing, and it'll probably get done. And there may be others added in the process. Like they're still working through all the details of this. That's why they're sort of asking for your patience. But really, Spectrum, AT&T, UVerse, and DirecTV cover most of that linear audience. I've got two of those. I've got Spectrum and DirecTV, so I'm covered. And I'm like you. DirecTV to me is user friendly, really user friendly as far as, and the room that it has on its. I know they're not DVRs anymore, but however you save your recordings, they got tons of room over there. You can record lots of stuff and multiple things at the same time. DirecTV is great. Now YouTube's great at that too, but they don't have regional sports.
Yeah.
YouTube. YouTube to me, I had it when they had the Rangers.
Yeah, we had it. Yeah.
When they had the Rangers, I got YouTube, and I was like, "This is great," because everything about YouTube TV was pretty easy, and you talk about being able to record 4 or 5 things at the same time and all. Oh my God, I love that. But you got to have Rangers for me and for you and for most of the people who are in the chat right now.
All right, Dylan Jester, do you all know what channel it would be on?
On DirecTV.
On Spectrum, it's going to be on 448, according to this Rangers website. Rangers.com/tune-in, one word, tune in.
Yeah.
Will get you
those numbers. DirecTV, it's going to be 677.
Yeah.
Which is one away from where it is on DirecTV or Bally was.
And I saw somebody in my notifications yesterday said, I see it's going to be on 677. Well, I just looked. There's no 677. Well, there's really no Rangers Sports Network yet.
Right.
On DirecTV. And so when that happens, there will be a 677. It'll be the Rangers Sports Network. And from what the release said yesterday, and maybe we can get some details today at the press conference. It's going to basically, the channel will go live every day with the pregame show and turn off after the postgame show.
And that really surprised me. That's something that I believe, I don't why did Fox never have that then? Right.
Yeah,
I don't think it was available. I never asked this question, and I wasn't able to reach anybody who could answer that. But that was the biggest challenge we had at Fox first, and then Bally was, oh my God, our daily programming is awful, right?
Yeah.
We don't have an audience like a lot. If your game, that's one of the things people love about having games on some of the network affiliates, and even CW33, they do a newscast at 6:00. So then at 6:30, there's already an audience, and a lot of them will just stick around and watch whatever's next, which in that case I think would be a Rangers pregame show, right?
Yeah.
So, but in the Fox world, Fox Sports Net, and in the Bally world, there was never an audience delivered to the game, right? The audience came to the game, but they were not delivered to the game. And so it was always this is, to me, wonderful for them. I don't know how they pulled that off, because I know that would have been something that we would have been interested in, especially in the Bally days when we were cheap. So
I wonder, hey, we can get you there's a 24-hour package, a 12-hour package, and a 6-hour package. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe, but
how much programming do you want?
And it seems like they could. It seems like they could then expand that. If they wanted to add a weekly Rangers Insider and produce that themselves, or show a replay of the game or something like that, it would seem like, okay, that's that could happen.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think, again, and I think I told the story when Dave Raymond was here, but when I talked to a few of the people who are in charge of this whole process, and I was there lobbying for some of my friends who are still kind of floundering out there between Bally and whatever's next for them. So I went and talked to a few of them and said, hey, what about this person? What about that person? And they said to me in no uncertain terms, John, we got to get the games on the air. And I totally get that. And I probably expected that answer, but I wanted to get my friends' names out there, right, to be considered when they do get to that point. I'm certain that they will. I know this for a fact. When the games were on Bally and then MLB started, taking them over in other markets and all that, the Rangers' stance on that was, we don't want MLB doing this, because what they did in most of those markets is they cut the pregame show from 30 minutes to 15, and the postgame show also was shorter, and they didn't have what the Rangers have called shoulder programming, like Rangers Insider and things like that, right? So I know they want, and I'm sure they'll probably get shoulder programming. One of the interesting questions, though, for the press conference today, which is at 2:00 over at the ballpark, is that, right? Is there a chance? Is there a plan or a chance to expand that window on any or all of those channels?
Yeah, there are opportunities to tell stories. I'm sure that the minor league affiliates would be willing to bend over backwards to help out if they could get a 30-minute. Hey, let's do a Rangers minor league show.
Yeah,
and just
let's do a Rough Riders show.
Yeah,
even,
just all 4 full season affiliate. And Rangers Insider. Not a good show, tells their stories, and the Rangers have an opportunity to get out some of their charitable things and draw attention to those. So I would imagine that it's got to be in the works.
Yeah. I think so too. I think it's just one step at a time, and they'll continue to add things as they go, and that's it's going to get better and better. Let's put it that way. And I did love the way Dave Raymond, when he was here, characterized it like this is a big deal. This is special what the Rangers are doing, and bold, and nobody else is out there doing it. Very few. I mean, the Mavs did it too. But it's special when an organization says, we care about you, the fans, and by God, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure that you can see our games, knowing the frustration that you have experienced as a fan not being able to see them for the last 3 years or more.
I mean, that's the overriding thing. So many fans have not had access to these games or the energy to go and find it. And man, just getting out to, I mean, this team won a World Series. Granted, all those games are on national TV, but nevertheless, they won a World Series without most of their fan base in their 5 states able to watch most of their regular season games. I mean, it's incredible. Just the blackout, basically, without blackout rules. Those are a whole other thing, but just the local blackout because of the disaster that was Diamond Sports Group. And for the Rangers they've acknowledged it long before this, announcement yesterday. They've known it for years and years. They've heard your frustrations, and for them to remedy it and to buy themselves and to throw out a game of the week on free TV. That's awesome. And it just seems like this is just the beginning. It seems like there's opportunities to expand and do more Rangers-centric stuff on their own network where people are going to be able to find it.
And the word that Ray Davis continually uses in this situation is certainty, right? They want certainty of what they're going to have to spend.
Right.
And if they're in charge of this network, there will be certainty. Again, Dave Raymond and I and Jeff, when Dave was here the other day, kind of talked through the fact that it's almost a certainty that they'll make more money now that they've brought it in-house than the $110 million a year that Fox was paying them, and that Bally was supposed to pay them and did for a number of years, but then had to go away and had to, significantly reduce it for the last year. But then that was the thing that Davis doesn't want to enter into. No owner does, right? If you guys we have a contract with you, we're counting on that $110 million that's in the contract. And so rather than leave it to chance with any of these other, potential Bally's of the world, these other regional sports networks of the world, they took it in-house, and they'll know. They'll know exactly how much they're going to make, and don't be surprised. And first of all, don't be surprised if they never tell us or they're reluctant to tell us how much they make. And secondly, don't be surprised that they'll be more lucrative than they were under the Fox Bally umbrella. More coming as we continue the talk of this. How does it all affect the team going forward and what they'll do on the field? That's a big question to answer. Also, I got a call from the Texas Rangers yesterday.
Yeah, you told me about this.
You're going to love
I'm pretty
this.
Curious to hear it.
You're going to love this. This is fun. That's next. DLLS Rangers Podcast. Where are we here?
Well, I'm going to talk
didn't
floors.
assign anybody.
Well, I just figured you did the floors yesterday. I'll do them today.
Thank you.
Empire Today, they're our flooring people. They should be your flooring people. They're just giving you such a great deal. $350 off new floors, empiretoday.com/DLLS. If you've been in the area for any amount of time, you know all about Empire. They're experts. It's all they do. They do carpet, hardwoods. If you want to go basic linoleum, they'd probably take care of you on that too. They have the in-home convenience is their deal. Got an app where you can take a picture of your room and boom, the floors show up somehow through the amazing world of technology. But again, you're not messing with anybody who just sold somebody a garden hose. You're dealing with people who do floors for a living. So here's what you do. You schedule a free in-home estimate today. Use the code DLLS for $350 off new floors.
So Game Time. What time is it, Jeff?
Game Time.
Game Time. Yeah, Game Time's a great app. I've used it myself. I can vouch for it. Super easy. And it's the gift that keeps on giving, really, because as I've mentioned, once you're in their world, and I get notifications from Sleeper all the time too. Jeff and I both, of course, use that. I don't use it as much as Jeff does, but I get notifications from Sleeper. But Nicole at Game Time and I are good buddies, and she sends me stuff almost every day. And she'll send you stuff too to let you know what's out there, because sometimes there are things out there that you didn't realize were out there. It's a big metroplex, and there's a lot of fun things that come to town day in and day out. So get yourself the Game Time app and get some tickets through there. If you wait till the last minute, which I'm sure they don't encourage, but I know this, if you wait till the last minute, you get up to 60% off on those tickets. So that's a heck of a deal. Go to Game Time, use the code DLLS, and get $20 off your first purchase.
I was just looking at the Super Bowl prices.
Oh, well, how much are they?
Well, the most expensive one I've seen is $9,200.
Wow.
But I mean, hey, this one here for $61.21, it's a pretty good view. It's kind of in the corner end zone, though. I think
$6,000.
40. Now here's one for $4,600. Section 618 though, it's pretty way up high, but it looks like a decent view.
Yeah,
but
I don't think there's too many bad seats in that Superdome or whatever we call it these days.
Yeah, I've only covered a couple games there, but
yeah, I've been there a few times, and I felt like it had pretty good sight lines. It's amazing the prices for the Super Bowl, and really we talked about it for that national championship game a couple weeks ago too. It's amazing how much money these things. I'm so glad, because I'm a Lions fan, as I've made well known, and my son is a big Bills fan. And when they were on a collision course, I'd kind of told them, yeah, we'll probably go. And man, I'm glad we're not. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I don't want to pay that much money for 2 tickets to the Super Bowl, but we probably would have. Anyway.
All right, a couple questions
we
to catch up on.
Ain't got to worry about that.
Mr. Farrow is asking, will the press conference today be live streamed or broadcast? I doubt it. Maybe simulcast on the radio.
Maybe on RSN, although they're not there yet.
They're not there yet.
Yeah. But that is the kind of thing, though, if RSN was on all day. Like, for example, when we were Bally, and most of you couldn't see us, every one of the press conferences, Simeon, Seager, whoever had press conferences, the year when it was DeGrom and Boch and Evaldi and whoever had press conferences that year, we did them all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it was programming that we carried live. And RSN will likely do that. I don't know. Again, since they're not going to be, at least now, for now, on all day, I don't know if they'll turn it on for a press conference like that, but I wouldn't be surprised. That's a way to just give it to your fans. Let your fans see this thing.
Bobby asks, so if I purchase Victory Plus, will the CW33 games be blacked out on the Victory app? I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so either.
No.
Yeah.
And then John, this is for Mitch, and it's way above my pay grade. With the RSN in their full control, do you think they would incorporate 4K in-app stat graphics and other technologies?
It's a great question. It's something that they definitely want to do. And I would say yes. The short answer to that is yes, but not in the short term, right? I think, the short term is get this puppy on the air. That gets into some pretty advanced technology, and they're all about that. And I know the directors and the producers and all those guys there love that kind of stuff. So they'll do that eventually, but I wouldn't even be surprised if it didn't happen this year. Could, but I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't happen this year. It's going to take a minute to get just what they're doing up and running, and then they'll want to be comfortable with that before they start branching out into something as advanced as what that is. But very good question, yeah. And the one thing that
there's one more. The Victory is a no-go with the RSN now for Rangers games? No. Victory will carry the Rangers games.
Yeah, you're going to get 150-ish, and that's the only reason that number's iffy is because of the question of how many Rangers games will be picked up by national TV. The most that national TV can pick up is 12. And so how many of those will get picked? It won't be 12 this year because, they're not considered all that. Now, I think last year there might have been 12.
With that stupid Apple game.
And that's the other thing. There's those exclusive Friday Apple games
that they haven't announced yet. So well, maybe then only road Rangers games will be part of the app. Will be an Apple option.
Right. It's a possibility. Yeah. It's a possibility. But anyway, yeah. So Victory, the Victory will still be there, and then the and Victory is not a no-go with the RSNs. You're going to get 150 games on Victory if you pay your $100. So you're good there. The one thing that surprised me, and some of you may know more about this part of it than I do, on the app side of it, I thought you could get the Victory Plus app on absolutely anything. I guess that all of mine, everything, I have it on 3 to 4 devices right now. And I guess that they all fit under the auspices of those various entities that they said it would be available under, which include Roku, Amazon Fire TV, I've got that one, Chromecast, Android TV, Apple TV, I've got that one, Vizio TV, I've got that one. So I guess Google TV I don't have.
You can get it on Apple devices and Android mobile devices, and Amazon mobile devices. That's pretty significant.
Pretty much everybody. I think when we were talking this through, Jeff and I were talking this through on the phone yesterday when it came out, I'm like, I thought everybody could get Victory, and basically I still do. I think anybody out there that we're talking to, you can get Victory. You don't need to worry about that list of the various places that it's available.
Yeah. Sure.
So anyway, that's part of that. Is there anything more we need to get to down there?
Well,
Stars games look good on the app. You're right,
Ethan keeps hitting on bringing Josh Lewin back. Well, they've got Dave Raymond. So.
Yeah, no. And I love Josh. I do. I was not one of the people that had a problem with Josh, but Dave Raymond, man, he is great. I think he's just great at the job. Love the guy. You saw the chemistry we all had together the other day on the show. He's just we went out and three of us went out and had lunch afterwards.
No cocktails though. I was a little surprised by that. I was waiting for somebody to break the
ice on that.
Yeah,
I know. We probably should have, but anyway, we still had a good time.
We all had long drives.
Yeah, we had a good time. So, all right, let me tell you my story about my call from the Texas Rangers yesterday, and then we'll get to what Marcus Semion's doing today. So, I'm out doing yard work yesterday. Jeff knows I'm waiting on a guy to get our gate is on the fritz. So I'm waiting for a guy to come and get the gate, and I'm on the golf cart, and I had called an 817 number to get the repair guy out there for the gate, and I never answer the phone if I don't know the number, but it's an 817 number, and I had called 817 to get the gate repair, so I'm like, it's probably the gate repair technician. I better take it. Hello, John? Yes. This is either James or Jay from the Texas Rangers. Hi, James or Jay, whatever it was. What can I do for you? Well, I know you have a small business, and we were wondering if you wanted to advertise in the Rangers yearbook. And I'm like, okay. And he says, let me ask you this. Have you ever been able to make it out to a game at Globe Life Field? I literally laughed. I go, I was on the broadcast for 28 years. And he goes, oh, I didn't know that. And so then I guess not. And so then I'm giving James or Jay credit because he forged ahead, man. He goes, well, maybe after all that time, you've grown tired of going to Rangers games. But
holy cow.
Yeah, but you will get, if you advertise in the yearbook, you'll get tickets in addition to your ad in the yearbook. Not to all games, but to some games, and we'll let you know which ones, and you'll have 4 here or 4 there, or if you get the $10,000 one, you have 15 there or 8 there, or, whatever. It runs through all the lists. 19,500 was the top advertising level, and I think 2,750 was the lowest. And he's giving me the whole rundown, and I go, well, you know what, James? My wife pretty much runs the business, as I have a lot of other things to do, including one of the things I'm doing this year is I'm real busy. I've got to write an article for the Texas Rangers yearbook. And he's like, whoa, well, I didn't know that, And so anyway, then I said to him, and I'd given him credit for forging ahead, man.
Yeah,
He kind of stepped on it. He didn't know who I was. That's okay. That doesn't anger me or embarrass me or make me mad. But then this is where I stopped giving him credit. I go, so can I have my wife call you back? Sure, anytime. Thank you. Click. Hangs up.
Didn't give you the number.
Didn't give me a number to call. So anyway, James, and that'll humble you. Boy, I've been off the broadcast for a year. I'm out of mind, man. It's unbelievable. Thank you, James or Jay, whatever your name is. Let's look at what Marcus Simeon's doing today.
And we have Layla.
Not surprising, throwing a baseball. Where is he? Globe Life Field at? It's media day for the East-West Shrine Bowl, which, of course, is being played basically across the street at AT&T Stadium, and they often leave that space available for practices and so forth and have the media gather at a nearby big gathering place. And by God, Marcus is going to get his workout in.
Yeah, Abby's out there for us, so she had head on a swivel as always. She also caught some footage of some Shriners dancing with the Fez. And so,
did she? I missed that. Shoot,
he always count on a lot of Fez at those Shriners events. So, but yeah, I mean, Marcus is going to work. And he wasn't taking up a lot of space. It's not like he was long tossing wall to wall or something. But yeah, I mean, that tells you, these guys are working. It looked like he was throwing it pretty good, so he's pretty deep into his throwing program. Probably already hit and lifted and all that stuff. So, and I'm sure he's not the only one there.
No, exactly
some
right.
Other guys might have popped out.
There was somebody catching that ball. Now it could have been.
That's a good point.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been one of the coaches or something like that too. Jacob Newberg, I know, will run out there and catch, and Raul. Raul played a lot of ball in his life. So any number of guys could have been on the receiving end of the long toss there. But in any event, it's nice to see that dedication, right? And that is what you always see from Marcus Simeon. I mean, Marcus, we make a big deal about Corey Seager doing the same thing every day. And one of the reasons we do is that it is so different from what everybody else does, right? He is off doing his own thing, which works for him clearly, and nobody minds. Marcus does the same thing every day too. It's just that most of what he does is in the context of what the rest of his teammates are doing.
Right.
But it's that, and he's talked to us about it many times, it's just you kind of have to do that. You're a creature of habit. You have to do the same thing and get ready the same way every day.
That's the truth. And these guys are so dedicated to the routines. They believe so deeply in them that's the reason why they're successful. And you see them and they commit to them and they don't waver from them. They just don't. Even on off days, Marcus goes through his same routine as if he's going to play a game. So it's, but you hear these minor leaguers, we've had them on the weekly show many, many times. Skylar Hales, Malcolm Moore is like, what did you learn your first taste of pro baseball or in your first full season? They're like, you got to have a routine. If you don't have a routine, you're in trouble. So, they get the routine, they find what works for them, and they go from there. So, and I'm sure, Marcus probably has an off-season routine too, and that was probably part of it.
Yeah. One quick answer to a question from 47 Run. Do we have any idea about the promotion schedule yet? Ironically, every year when I was at Fox and Valley, I got together with Chuck Morgan either on the set at the ballpark or on the set at Valley, or sometimes I went to the ballpark, and we went over all of the really cool promotions and put it on the air so people would know. And those usually our hits usually aired during spring training games. We don't have Valley this year or Fox, so I think we're going to get Chuck in here. We'll get Chuck in here, and we'll ask him to bring some of the promotional items so he can tell us, the days that's what he does. He comes in, brings a bunch of the cool stuff, and tells us what days they'll be available.
Yeah, let's do that. But, yeah, I mean, they usually announce it right around now. They
usually do. Yeah.
And a lot of times they'll have a little deal with a player who's being featured in a bobblehead or something like that.
Yeah.
And Chuck will go over them with us. So I would anticipate it soon. But, I mean, as John's saying, 2 weeks, the Rangers are going to be working out in Arizona.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be there if they have one because
right.
I'll be in Arizona.
Be in Arizona, yeah. All right. So anyway, I know I stepped on it there. I'm a little over here, and we're going to do more, though. We're going to talk about a few teams that MLB believes are teams that are on the rise and how close each of them are to the Texas Rangers next on the DLLS Rangers Podcast. But first we got to talk about Shady Rays. It's not a day where you need them, so mine aren't handy. And tomorrow, likely, at least in the morning, won't be a day that you need them. But, as we always say around here, we need the rain. And we need the sun. At least I do. It's one of the reasons I am so glad to live in Texas, where I think we still average like 300 or more days of sunshine per year, whereas in Michigan, it's the opposite. We used to get about, 362 days in a year? We'd get about 62, 365. Yeah, we'd get about 65 days of sunshine up there. So I love the sun, and I need Shady Rays to help me with the sun. They are polarized. They are fantastic. They have great styles. They're almost indestructible. And if you go to shadyrays.com right now and use the code DLLS, you get a full 35% off. That's a significant savings. 35% off a pair of shades that aren't that expensive to begin with. Shady Rays.
Yeah, I'm doing it today. I'm going to call my eye doctor because I need to get an appointment. I need to get the sunglasses and see if I can cram an order in here in the next 2 weeks.
Oh, you'll need them. Yeah.
Yeah. So I may, and maybe I'll get a second pair of Shady Rays.
Yeah. I've had it.
Anyway, in the meantime, don't forget about Saturday Neon. You might need your shades to look at these LED neon signs. They have like a lifetime of power. It's like 100,000 hours.
100,000 hours. I just heard that.
Unbelievable. And so basically you buy one, it's yours for life. But you're going to want to buy more than one. They have a like 50 license with 50 college teams. That portfolio is expanding. You can custom make a sign, and it's all for like a really reasonable price of $75. So go to SaturdayNeon.com, use the code DLLS, and you'll get 10% off.
Yeah, we love Saturday Neon, and I was surprised to hear that it is a full 100,000 hours that they're available for. I mean, that's fantastic.
That's like I don't know. That's like your life, right?
I mean, even if you ran it constantly, it's going to last for a long time. So
yeah, I'd have to do the math.
Yeah, I can't. Math is hard. Absolutely, very hard. All right, so Major League Baseball identified 7 teams that are, arrow absolutely pointing up. Number 1 on that list Texas Rangers.
No kidding.
Yep.
All right.
Texas Rangers were number 1 on the list and number 7 on the list. I thought the first and the last were significant and notable for us. So number 1 on the list is the Texas Rangers. Number 7 on the list, can you believe it? Dodgers.
Well,
and I get it. I mean, I get it because the point is all 7 of these teams are going to be significantly or have a chance to be significantly better than they were last year. And the Dodgers with, healthy pitchers and with all that they've added, as good as they were a 98-team win last year. They could be better this year.
They could be. So who's new? Well, Snell, that's a good pickup. Of course, Sasaki, I really don't have high expectations for him here these first couple of years. I think he's going to be really good when he pitches, but I think there's an opportunity for injuries and stuff. But they re-signed Teoscar Hernandez, so that's not an ad.
No, but you did improve the bullpen with Tanner Scott and Kirby Yates. And in the cleanup segment, I want to talk about the Yates contract.
We had a question about that from Rarities.
We'll get to that in the cleanup segment. But so they improved themselves, and just again those internal improvements just by everybody staying healthy.
Right.
Certainly helps. I mean, that's certainly one of the things that they pointed to with the Rangers. In fact, the first line MLB.com or whoever it was had on the Rangers one was Jacob deGrom. Right?
Oh, sure.
I mean, of course.
Oof.
When you start with Jacob deGrom and you feel like he's going to be fully healthy, of course you're going to be a better team.
Yeah, and I've said it a number of times. I even said it to John Gray on the weekly show. That's the thing I'm most excited about.
And he said
season.
He was too, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's excited too because he's seen it.
Yeah.
I would love to see him make 20 starts. I'll take 20. I just want to see it.
And was it CY said 25?
Right. CY said 25.
And Jacob said 30.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Like an optimist.
Sure. Well, don't go in there thinking, I'm only going to make 20 starts. Because that might curtail your workload and things like that. But I just want to see it. And if between the two of him and Eovaldi, if they make 50 starts, Rangers are going to be really, really good shape. So but to your point about internal improvements and guys staying healthy, Josh Young, Adolis Garcia, Jonah Heim, Marcus Semien, needs to be better. Leody Taveras, Evan Carter coming back healthy, and then you think a full year, how you think about what last year his rookie season did for Wyatt Langford and Tatum, and I think that he'll have a quick start because he won't be trying to figure out as much to start the year. So I think he has a chance to take off pretty early. So that makes sense. I mean, these guys are not that far removed from winning the World Series.
That's the thing, and that's the other point that they made in identifying the Rangers as one of these teams. And Chris Young has said it, and we've said it. The goal here is to make last year the aberration, right? The 78 wins last year is the aberration, and let's go ahead and make sure that this year is more like 2023 was. And you can't discount the signings of 2 big bats. When you get a Jake Berger and you get a Jock Peterson added to this already potent lineup, there's a lot to be excited about offensively, and of course there's a lot to be excited about from a pitching standpoint. We still believe there is that one question mark, and I think they identified this too. There is still that one question mark about closer, but whether that's answered or not, who knows? Now, 2 of the other teams that were in the 7, the Oakland Athletic, or whatever they're called, the Athletics.
Oakland?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Oakland still?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, interesting.
They signed some guys. They absolutely did. We'll take them from a 65 wins team or however many they
68, I think.
68,
yeah.
Same thing. To a playoff spot? I don't think so. But they'll be. They won't lay down. The Rangers won't be able to look at the schedule and be, hey, the A's, all right, we're going to win 4 games. No, you better show up. And then who's the other one from the West?
The Angels.
Yeah, okay. They couldn't get any worse.
Right. Yeah.
And it'd be really hard for them to go worse. And again, that last series of the season at Anaheim, that was a pretty bad team. They had that on the Saturday night game. They had that huge lead and just coughed it up in the 9th. nobody could throw a strike or get an out, and I felt so bad for Wash because he managed the game perfectly to that point and had the bullpen all ready to go the way they wanted it, such that it is. I mean, they didn't have Troy Percival anymore, but they would have, or Francisco Rodriguez. They had whoever it was, and he spit the bit. So yeah, I hope for Wash's sake they're better. But the division needs to be better. I just really think that last year it just, you're talking 2 years ago being one of the best divisions in baseball with the Astros, Rangers, Mariners, and then this last year it was, the Astros were 2-out in the postseason, the only team to make the postseason.
Yeah, and they were beaten by the Detroit Tigers, by God, and and at home. Tigers won two on the road down there. All about Sports Zone. I like your bold prediction about Cody Bradford, and I bring it up just because I was listening to our buddy Mike Bassick on the way in, and I absolutely love listening to Mike talk about pitching and mechanics of pitching.
Yeah.
His dad, is a pitching coach. I mean, like private coach who, when your kid is really good, you find Mike Bassick Sr. and he coaches you up. And, he's had several guys make it to the big leagues who he coached. But anyway, Mike was saying, and maybe you've heard this. I had not heard this about Cody. But one of the things Mike loves about Cody is his extension. He gets further down the mound than most pitchers in big league baseball. And Mike said, it's a huge difference. He said, imagine if you move the rubber up 6 inches, right? From 60 feet, 6 inches to 60 feet. The pitchers would go, oh my God, that's great. We're right on top of them now, right? Because they feel that much closer. That's what Cody Bradford does with his great extension. The ball is closer to the hitter or the batter when he releases it, and that can absolutely and that's one of the reasons Mike said, he's throwing 90, but it feels like a lot more because he's releasing it later because of that great extension.
Yeah, I mean, if you've ever been around Cody, he's surprisingly big.
Yes.
He's a tall kid, and he does have long arms. He'd be a good 2-guard / 3, with the long arms, held defensively. He's really, and there's deception in there. That's the thing they talk about with the deception. He's not doing anything crazy with his delivery. It's just the extension he gets coming down the mound, and that allows the fastball to play better because it is only 89, 90, and when he's commanding it, it's great.
Yeah, and it's hard to hit.
Yeah. And so I like Cody a lot. Cody's just a good person. On top of being a pretty good pitcher, he's actually going to be out at my son's spring training this weekend signing autographs.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah.
I need to text him though and be like, "Hey, I'm not there in a working capacity.
Yeah.
I'm
not stalking you.
Yeah.
I'm not stalking you. But I think it's going to be really exciting to see what Cody Bradford does, and I think it's going to be interesting, Jeff, to see how the rotation shakes out. Because, I've penciled some in that didn't have Cody as one of the starters just because there's a lot of talent there. A lot of them, if you put Cody back in, I think you're almost automatically penciling Kumar Rocker out, right?
Yeah.
Barring injury. Yeah. I think it comes down to those two in that rotation after you assume that John Gray is going to remain a starting pitcher. And so you go in some order, DeGrom, Eovaldi, Gray, Malley. Okay, then there's the fifth guy. Is it Rocker or is it Cody Bradford?
Right. And, it's a different look because it's left-handed. All those guys we mentioned are right-handed. And again, it's a different look because it's not 99, 98. It's it slows the bats down. It slows the hitters down. And maybe it sets up Eovaldi or DeGrom, whoever doesn't start on opening day, and gives them a little bit of an edge for their start. Because I think last year Bradford started the second or third game of the season.
I think that's right. Yeah.
And I'm sure Mike Maddox has it all figured out and has his thoughts, maybe not all figured out. I think Cody still has to earn a job.
Sure, of course.
You have to win a job. He's not penciled in. He can't go out there and have a 45 spring ERA. He needs to go out there and do it. But you remember last year in spring training, he was so methodical. He knew he had to win a job. He knew that he needed to add a curveball, which he did, and he worked on it in spring training and did the work, was still always ready. And and then, how, depending on how much you want to work these guys, what's what's his pitch limit going to be this year?
Right.
Do you want him to go out and he can't throw 180 innings? So how much work is Kumar Rocker gonna get this year? So I think that it's entirely possible that Kumar Rocker starts at AAA.
Yeah, it's a definite possibility. It's interesting when we start talking about innings limits and number of starts, and you mentioned, Jacob deGrom, of course, wants to start 30 games. I don't blame him.
Yeah.
To show how far we come, I was thinking the other day about 1 year in spring training when Kevin Brown was still a young, up-and-coming starting pitcher with the Rangers. And I asked him at spring training, I said, so Kevin, you think you got 200 innings in you this year? 200? I hope I have a lot more than that. Right?
Yeah,
Can you imagine if that was the question of spring training today? You think you got 200 innings in you this year? What? Who are you talking about? I don't think so. So anyway, I don't know. I think Kevin Brown did exceed 200 innings that season too. So anyway, things have changed a little bit. That's what our thoughts are on this team that has its arrow definitely pointing up, the Texas Rangers. More coming up. It's a pretty full cleanup segment. We've got lots to talk about. It's next on the DLLS Rangers Podcast.
So, John, I see you've got the shirt on today. Yeah, yep. I did not in a rare day.
Didn't wear one.
I didn't wear any DLS gear because I have a bunch, and I might be on the verge of getting another just because there's a huge sale at store.allcitynetwork.com. All five All-City Network affiliates are having the sale, but of course, you guys are probably going to be focused on our stuff. So basically, a $35 shirt's now $28.
Oh, okay.
And you make the order, it ships quick, you get it real fast. Turn around, they're comfortable shirts. I mean, I wear mine all day when I have them on. I sleep in them sometimes. I mean, there's no reason to take them off. They're just great shirts. So. A wide variety too. I think there's 6 or 7 different Ranger shirts. So store.allcitynetwork.com and go there, take advantage of the sale, get on the board, rep our gear, and again, you get a free T-shirt if you become a diehard member.
That's the whole thing. You don't even have to pay $28 for one if you just become a diehard, and you get so many more benefits than just that free shirt. You get to read everything that we put behind the paywall. More and more stuff is going to go behind the paywall because that's how reading content works these days with any of the content providers, whether it be The Athletic, which doesn't have a local writer,
right,
or whether it be, it has Levi's here, but he writes a national baseball column.
He doesn't cover the team.
He's not covering the team on a daily basis. And so, and the others, the Dallas Morning News and any of the others are more expensive, way, way, way more expensive than what we are. At $79.99 to become a diehard and get all that great content, not just on Rangers, but on Cowboys, Stars, Mavs, and any of the other teams that we continue to add. So we can't encourage you enough to do that. Become a diehard today, and we'd appreciate it. All right, let's clean things up here today. Where are we going to start? Let me see here. What do we got on the top of that list? So how about this? The Dodgers Foundation and the Walker Family Foundation, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, of course, people with that kind of money are going and are in LA, from LA, are going to try and support something like the devastation and the rebuilding efforts of the devastation caused by the fires in Los Angeles. And any donation that these wealthy people make is great. $100 million. I don't know that I've ever seen one that big. On an effort like this, $100 million, like that one floored me. I think that's just obviously fantastic. Not even close. I think they're saying it's an estimated that it'll be $250 billion in damage.
Right.
But $100 million, man, that's a really generous donation. And then Magic Johnson, and I think it's Mark Walker, who's the Walker's son, who is in charge of the foundation these days, are going to be on a committee spearhead a committee to help rebuild Los Angeles. So
Magic Johnson's such a tremendous success story beyond his playing career. He's owns so many businesses. He's worth $500 million at least.
Yeah.
But yes, to be able to do that, and the real estate's so expensive there, and just everything is so much more expensive in California. And a lot of these homes were wonderful homes, and kind of ritzy areas. A lot of celebrities lose stuff, but you don't hear about the other people. And some people lost everything just like that. And if they didn't have fire insurance, well, they're SOL. So
right,
good for the Dodgers. Somehow they still had the money to sign Kirby Yates.
Yeah.
So Kirby Yates, 1 year, $13 million.
Yeah.
And it seems like he could have gotten more.
That's to me too.
From the Rangers. It may not have been per year, but at his age, boy, I would take the biggest pot of money I could get.
I'd take 2 for 22, which is year to year, a little less, because he does have a chance with 50 and then 55 appearances. He's got a chance to make it $14 million. He gets $500,000 for 50 and another $500,000 for 55, according to sources in this contract. But I'm with you. If I can guarantee myself $11 million 2 years in a row, $22 million's more than 14, no matter how you cut it, right? And you get to continue doing this thing that you love. I think it speaks to, though, how much he wants to be on this team that he believes will win.
Yeah.
Not that he thinks the Rangers won't, but obviously you would have more belief in this Dodgers situation right now.
Yeah. We'll have to dig into that one. And then there was a question about our thoughts on Teodo, Hales, and Church being closers. I think eventually, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, Teodo, I think they need to keep starting, just to see, just see if the little 5'11", 5'10" guy can do it. But Church has got great stuff. Hales, big fastball. Needs to dial in his breaking stuff. He is working on a split finger, as is Church. It seems to be the new in vogue pitch for Rangers players, so that's great. Probably hats off to Nathan Eovaldi on that one. So eventually I could see those guys closing, but definitely not to start the year.
No, and again with Teodo, you don't even see him being a relief pitcher anytime soon. Now, Mark Church is one. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the trajectory Mark Church is on. He's going to be wherever he is this upcoming year. He'll spend a lot of time either closing or I would assume if he's in the minors, he'll probably be kind of groomed, if you will, to close.
Yeah. He didn't start pitching till like his senior year in high school. So there's not a lot of mileage on that arm, which a lot of people talk about. The Rangers were flirting with the idea of him being a starter a couple of years ago because they think the fastball slider combination was so good that he could do it. And now he's added a third pitch. So maybe someday, you never know. So anyway, he's good. The good kid, heads in the right spot. And I like him.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him. Oh, look, it'd be nice to see all these kids have success. I suppose they all can't, at least probably that they all can't here, but it'd be nice to see all of them have, success and live that dream. Here's more good news, and that is that the game time length continues to go down.
Yay.
How about that?
I love it.
So back in 2021, 44% of the games ended before 10 o'clock across the country, right? 10 o'clock local time, 44%. Last year, it was 87%.
That is fantastic.
We have shaved 34 minutes off the average game time since 2021. In 2021, the average game time was 3 hours and 10 minutes, and now it is 2 hours and 36 minutes. to play a baseball game. It's been great for fans. It's been great for especially fans who have kids and want to take them to the game. It's really just been great for the viewing of baseball. It's so much easier and more fun to watch the game when you're not, watching a hitter every time between pitches, undo his gloves and put them back on and step out of the box, and pitcher walk around the mound and, do all kinds of histrionics. Man, let's just get up there and pitch. It's great.
I'm with you. It makes the quality of the game play better too.
It does. Yeah.
Because fielders are on their toes. They're not like, oh God, it's a minute between pitches. They're not falling asleep out there, getting on their heels. So anyway, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it too.
Not on your rundown there. Baseball America came out with its top 30 prospects for all teams.
Okay.
They've already done the top 10 with the Rangers. Real quick, Rocker, Walcott, Rosario, Teodo, Santos, Moore, Yolfran Castillo, Jack Leiter, Dylan Dreiling, and Alejandro Osuna. Now they did 11 through 30. Justin Foscue at 11. Yeremy Cabrera, 12. Braylon Morel, they're both young Dominican guys. Paulino Santana, only 15. That one surprises me. He's even younger than those two. Isaac Tiger, 16. David Davalillo, 17. Mark Church, 18.
Okay.
Dustin Harris, 19. Jose Corniel, who will be still recovering from Tommy John surgery. He's in there at 20. Alorki Rodriguez, who was their big international signing this month, 21. Dane Acker, 22. Cole Drake, 23. Colton Curtis, 24. Glider Figueroa, 25. Casey Cook, 26. Paul Bonzagni, who is from Grapevine, 27. David Hageman, 28, who is also coming off of Tommy John surgery. He was drafted injured. Josh Steven, 29, and Cam Colley, a big drop for Cam Colley, all the way to 30. He was in the top 10 at one point last year. I don't get that one. But anyway.
It's interesting on that Josh Steven, because every time I see his name, I think Stephan too. It's S-T-E.
It's Steven.
Yeah, it's Steven. S-T-E-P-H-A-N, I think, and you think Stephan, but it's Steven. And the fact that 18 and 19 were Church and who? Church and somebody else whose name is up there.
Dustin Harris.
Harris, yeah. Harris and Church being barely in the top 20, I think speaks to, again, the depth of this franchise. These are two guys we have talked about as possibilities this year, and at least late in the year maybe, and they're in the down at around 20. It speaks to some pretty strong depth in this minor league organization.
Yeah. Speaking of Church and closing, Natalie, our good friend, asks, is Garcia the closer to start the year, then Church or Hale? No, I think Chris Martin, Bruce Bochy basically said, well, you're gonna look at the most experienced guy, and right now it's Chris Martin. So just based on Bruce Bochy on January 18th, we'll go with him, and then see what happens in spring training. You never know. You never know what these guys have up their sleeve and what their R&D people and numbers guys and all that stuff have in mind.
Yeah. So, but that, again, that's how it's going to start. Who knows where that will land? I mean, it could be any one of those guys. We've heard Jacob Webb. We've heard Garcia. Of course, Josh Boers is coming back sometime probably in June. So there's going to be options there, and there still could be an addition, which could throw a monkey wrench into the whole thing. Last night, Paul Skeens was on the Seth Meyers show, the late night show with Seth Meyers. I always love it when baseball players, make the rounds on these type shows. And of course, he was promoting the show, MLB The Show 25, and he said, "I won't be playing it. I'm no good at these." Right? He said, "I just don't have the finger dexterity to play video games like this." So well, first of all, I liked Seth Meyers. I'm a Saturday Night Live guy. And secondly, I thought it was fun to see Paul Skeens on there. Just know you're better. You right now are better at MLB 25 The Show than he is.
If I'm Paul Skeens, I'm spending all my downtime with Livy Dunn.
Well, I might do that too. It's a heck of a point. That is a heck of a point. Yeah. So that puts a wrap on another show. We appreciate you joining us. We have good news. Later in the week, we think Friday, We think we're going to get.
I think I got a text. Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. Okay, cool. We believe that tomorrow or Friday, looks like tomorrow, we're going to have Jim Cochran on. Jim got a big promotion yesterday. He's been with the Rangers organization for a long time, but he's kind of the big-time point man over the business operation of the Rangers and thus the new regional sports network called RSN. So he'll be joining us. We'll have lots of questions, and he'll have lots of answers tomorrow on the DLLS Rangers Podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.